What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the kingdom. My name is Drums. As always, I am joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. We're going to tee things up first here, going right to Reg. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. Beauty day in Dauphin today. Looking forward to another podcast here. We had a great tournament on the weekend. As most of you have probably seen from following our social media, we had the Ironman in Gilbert Plains there. And I'm sure everybody's seen the video of Pat just about making that putt on 16. And it's killed our phones ever since, just with the notifications we've been getting from people liking and sharing that post online. It's pretty cool.
Going viral. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
And next up on his tee is his brother, Jordan. What's going on, man?
Top of the evening to you boys. Coming live from Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. Patrick Wojcik is a famous man. He is viral. I mean, everything about that video was just like meant to be, it seemed like.
Phenomenal.
Like Patty's wearing a Winnipeg Jets. Like, I'm sure he knit that sweater himself. Like, he's shooting a pink ball. That was the only hole he used the pink ball that whole tournament. You got Dad in there wearing a King Golf hat. You got Ripper in the background, more excited than anybody else.
Wearing a King Golf sweater.
Wearing a King Golf sweater. And the video is so crazy that people are actually saying that it was fake.
That's so funny.
So, yeah, it's just the perfect storm of everything. And the tournament was a blast. I think it was sold out. Was it not, Rigo?
Yeah.
And I said to Rigo after, I think next year we're just going to have to either set up a camera on hole 16 or a few of the crazy holes, or we might hire like a cameraman to just hang out there and just film putts, because people are just going bananas for those putts. They're crazy. Like, some of those putts are absolutely insane on that course.
So kind of break it down. Like, what's the tournament setup, and then like what's the format?
Reggie, you want to discuss?
Yeah, so it's a 4-man scramble. It's basically, other courses have what they call a greenskeeper's revenge. It's basically they just put the pins in crazy spots on crazy slopes, and now they have the roller at Gilbert, so they like double and triple and quadruple roll these greens and like just make them super fast, to where the point if you miss the hole, it's coming right back down to your feet. They put the tee boxes in crazy spots where you normally don't hit from. All around, they just make it super difficult. And we discussed it a bunch on the weekend, that everybody who's golfing there thought that it should be like that in every scramble. Just, you shouldn't have a score of 18 under winning every scramble. It should be tough like that. Now, I realize there are some elements that, I mean, they shave that fringe rate down so that the course isn't really playable anymore. So they do it at the end of the year. But yeah, it's a super cool tournament. And I mean, I'm sure it'll be sold out before, I mean, probably the same day as registration next year, just with all the hype it's kind of gotten there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Even without shaving them down, they could put like harder pins and stuff for scrambles, because usually it's usually just like a piss up tournament, so they don't care. Put them in the middle, let everybody get low scores, right? But
the trouble is there's usually a lot of either corporate events or, you know, people who don't golf often. So I think that they would really struggle with that. I think that the people who are golfing in this tournament are probably some of the more serious golfers, I would say. Like, there were some teams from Russell there. There's teams from, where else, Rigo?
On and all. There's supposed to be one from Yorkton, but COVID kind of screwed that. But one last thing just to touch on that too is that I'm not convinced every course could do that. Gilbert's kind of a unique course where there are so many undulations on the greens. Like, Clear Lake has it, I guess, but not many other courses around here have the capability to make insane pins like that. Gilbert's kind of the perfect
said he
storm
probably
for that.
couldn't do that.
Right.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, because there are some crazy greens on the back nine. Like, think of 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, some of those holes at Gilbert, there wasn't a whole lot of slope to them, but there's 2 tiers on them. So they would put it kind of right in the middle of the 2 tiers. So basically, if you miss the hole, it's coming back at you. Like, you can't you can't miss it without it coming back to your feet. It has to either go in the hole or you're putting it again. Like we took a double on hole 2 there just because we couldn't make the putt, so it just kept rolling back to our feet. So I think that the courses around here could do that. It's just something that it also took 4 hours to play the front 9.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you get into some of the tournaments where pace of play and there's more teams out there, then it would be an issue with that. So I don't know. It was such a fun tournament, and I would do that a lot more often if it was possible, but there are logistics involved that might not make that possible. So
who took home the championship?
I don't even know. I know the Russell guys, they had 2 groups there, and they just kind of draw it because it's like a fun tournament because you could take a 12 on hole and
so it's not
-5
like
the rest
it
of the
doesn't
tournament.
go by score, really.
I think
there was one, the winner, and then there was
the winner
9
was
other
8
teams that
under,
got drawn.
which is crazy.
Very
But
crazy.
I think it was Dale Murray for sure. I'm just gonna say the team that I think it was, and if people hear it and they're pissed off that that's not who it was. I think it was Dale Murray, Keith Hankey, Chad Duchik, and Tom Hankey. I think no relation to Tom Hanks. Just
thanks for clearing it up.
What's up with you, Drums? That's enough of our spiel.
Good weekend.
I got out this weekend too. I played Wheat City on Saturday. When did we go? Yeah, Saturday. Me and Rob, and we actually took our dads out. So we got this one.
Oh, nice.
We're on the first tee. I hadn't talked to my dad in, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 days. We're on the first tee. I'm late, obviously, so I come running up. First thing Dad says to me, "So did your mom tell you about my silly purchase?" I was like, "No." Bought a motorcycle. I was like, "What?"
Oh boy.
So he bought himself.
What kind of motorcycle? Like a Harley or a speed bike or like
like a Harley style. I think it's a Honda or something like that.
Oh yeah. That's sweet. That's
Goldwing.
what Dad wants too, actually.
So he ended up at an auction one day, and this thing was there for a good deal, so he got it. And Mom is rattled.
Wild hogs.
Wild hogs for sure. So yeah, that was.
That's what would be.
That was a funny start to my round. Was hearing that.
Yeah, that's unreal.
I think I hit the floor.
How'd the boys shoot? How'd the dad shoot?
Well, we kind of got interrupted halfway through it. Rob's fiance's sister was in a car accident, so kind of shout out to her. I think she's doing better now. She had all the CT scans, all that stuff, so she was all right. Last I heard, but so Rob and his old man went home.
Yikes.
To kind of take care of that situation, so we kept playing, but it was so slow. Like it was so busy on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah, which is good to see. And I think like the rest of the week is supposed to be nice. So hopefully it stays busy and we can keep going.
Reggie, what doing?
For everybody who is going to watch this on YouTube later, I am in an absolute battle with fruit flies right now. I have no idea why. I'm drinking a glass of wine, but I don't know where they're coming from. I've killed 5 already. So if you see me grabbing around, that's what I'm doing. Sorry for making a clap noise there too.
Okay, well, let's get into our PGA picks for the week. It is our second, I guess, our first public one. So Warren Birch won the contest last week. So he sent in our keyword on Twitter, and he got picked. And his pick for the week, he gets first overall. And his pick is Hideki Matsuyama.
Solid pick.
And he said hasn't been in the mix much this year, but he's consistent as always. Definitely not picking someone who shuts his eyes to putt. Referring, of course, to Sergio, who actually won on the weekend. So
that's an absolute dart.
Oh man, that was crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
2 darts. He had one on 15 on the par 5, and then on the 18th.
Let's talk about that for a sec, Jor.
That was
disgusting. Was a dagger.
Yeah, that was a dagger, but
I tried to Sergio was 2 back, and I said to these guys, you can live bet on that site we're on. And I was like, should I just throw $25 on Sergio to get our money back for the weekend? And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. So I go to place the bet. And it's like you have to verify your identity. And it's like a 10-step thing. And as I'm trying to verify my identity, Sergio hits a dart from 300 yards on a par 5 to like a foot. And all of a sudden his odds go from like plus 600 to like minus 100. So we lost out on all the cash we would have won thanks to this website. But these guys weren't happy with me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, nothing you could do.
No. So what are we doing?
Birchie also,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Birchie also said he also wanted to mention that the over-under is the name of the game, which is referring to our overrated and underrated segment. And he said the last week 5 of the 9 picks were on par. Where is the controversy in that? So we took note of that, and I don't think we're going to completely eliminate par from the question because there are some valid ones, but we're definitely going to try to stay away from the par. So
right.
Thanks for that. It's good to get some feedback because we kind of get into our own little element here and just, week by week. But if you notice anything in the show that you want changed, improved, or challenge us on anything, we're very happy to hear that. So thanks, Birchie. So who's going?
Let's get
Drums,
to the picks. Drums, I went first.
You got third place.
Yeah.
You want me? I'm going to go with Matthew Wolfie.
Oh. Matthew.
Yeah.
How come? Any reason, or are you just going to go with Wolf?
I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I think he's teed off, or he's playing with DeChambeau to start. So a couple big hitters, a couple big bombers off the top, and I want to see him kind of pull out here, and then just those two can duke it out for a couple of years with long bombers.
They were the final group at the U.S. Open, right?
Yep.
Oh God, I'm gonna take Louis. I saw him. I had to do a little bit of research to see who the experts are picking, and I saw his name, and I absolutely love Ustays, and I never really expressed it enough, but just a few of the things I've seen of him online, like he's just an absolute beauty. So
wasn't it him singing on the private jet?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When he got his 4th, he completed the Grand Slam of second places, and he was singing "Rise Up." I think that was a hilarious video, man. So that's actually probably why I'm picking Louis. So that's why I got him.
That's an interesting strategy.
Are you going back to yours, Jor?
Back to the wall?
Back to your ape?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Bryson because it's a few reasons, I would say. The first reason is he hasn't played since the U.S. Open. And, I mean, if you look at that course compared to this course, I think it's going to be like, I don't really know what holes or what courses around here to compare to, but if you think about how challenging that was and then to go to kind of a easier course, I guess, I think he's just going to absolutely let loose. And the second reason is that this was a year ago that he kind of committed himself to his new training and his different methodology behind the game. It was this tournament last year, the Shriners tournament, where he decided that this was it. He's going to start changing something, and he did. I was watching the Golf Channel today, and he's worked out. He says, this is what the Golf Channel says, he's worked out every day since then. So I just don't see any stop in this guy. I don't think he's going to regress at all. And I think that tournaments like this will be something that he kind of cleans up on the next few years, I think. Plus, he won me last time, so I got to go back to him. Bryson.
All righty.
Right on. A little better explanation than why I picked Louis, but
yeah, you did homework. Congrats.
I didn't really do too much homework. I was just watching the Golf Channel while I was eating supper tonight. But
and that's all they talk about is him beefing up.
Yeah. Well, so last week what's that, Rigo?
No, I was actually going to say what you were just going to say. So go ahead.
Last week we did our front 9 of the Composite course, which ended up being all Manitoba courses, which was kind of cool, and it ended up being all different courses, which believe it or not, was truly unscripted. So I don't think we're going to have as much success tonight with that, because we're kind of missing the whole 9-hole courses in this one, like the Rossmans, the Verdens, the Melitas. Those are kind of gone out the window. So I'm guessing there'll be a little bit of overlap tonight, but we'll see. So tonight we're going to do the back nine on those courses. We're going to go 10 to 18. And same as last time, I guess. Am I starting?
Yeah, you're leading us off. Yep.
Okay. Do you guys have any comments from the last week's stuff, or just get right into it?
Well, let's just get right into it.
Hole 10. First time we played this course was this year, Heckler Island. It was par 5 on the back nine to start, which I prefer a par 5 to start any nine. And it's got some cool scenery. It's got a kind of a rock wall on the left side, and then the second shot goes over a little ravine. So you need a good tee shot, and then you need to carry it about 180 to 200 over the ravine to get to the green. So
that is a super cool hole, actually. I had a tough time with those courses that I just played this summer, like a couple times. I had a tough time refreshing my memory, and it's tough to just see it from a picture. But now that you say that, that's a super cool hole. You had an eagle putt there too, didn't you? Yeah.
Missed it.
I'm going to go to Minnedosa, the 10th hole there. It's a beast if it's playing into the wind or even just a crosswind. It's a dogleg right with a bush on the right and a bunker covering the right side of the fairway. So you kind of got to either play to the left or try to take on a bit of the corner. And the green's no slouch either. It's pretty severely sloped from back to front. So it's a cool hole to start the back.
I'm going to wrap it up on the 10th and go to Clear Lake. That's I was surprised actually that you guys didn't go to 10.
I would never take that hole on any course.
No,
the Smokey Hole.
The Smokey Hole. That's probably the reason why I pick it. You get to 10, you load up on a Smokey, you pump one in the bush, you drop one, and you fire one at the green and putt for 2 hours, and then you're off.
It is a sweet hole, actually.
It's a sweet hole. You have, I guess, like when we were younger, we had like a good landing spot, and then now we can hit it longer. You kind of got to play the right club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get near the green, it's a free for all. It can be an absolute gong show where you can make birdie. It's not a tough hole, but it's a tough green. So yeah, I think it's a good mix of kind of picturesque and super challenging too. So that's my 10.
Yeah, when you're looking back from the 10th green, that's probably one of the better views on the course. I mean, everybody takes a picture on hole 9, but when you're looking back from the 10th green, it's pretty nice. And I guess I should kind of retract my comment there, because I'm saying that from a perspective of starting on hole 10, like at the Tamarack, like as hole 1.
Right.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah,
but
tough.
As hole 10, it is, once you're kind of warmed up a little bit, it is a good hole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Drums, that means you're back up.
11, I went Oak Lake for 11. So 11, you hit out to the trees, and then it kind of wraps around the green.
Yeah.
That's my 10. Or 11.
I actually had that down. I changed it right before we started here tonight. So that's
really
kind of cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're still good.
Sure.
I got hole 11 at Minnedosa. It's kind of like my hole 3 on the front nine, which is a drivable par 4. It's cool. It's the start of the back nine. The back nine's the more linksy, I guess, open style of the course at Minnedosa. And I'm guessing it's about 310, 320. And if you got a bit of wind up there, you can get to the green. But if you miss the green, there's kind of bunkers and fescue scattered all over the place. So there's not a real great spot to land unless you're laying up kind of, but you kind of just got to get lucky and get a good bounce. So I like the drivable short par 4s.
I'm going to go to, if we're going on strictly your best scores there and you want to score on the course, I wouldn't pick this hole, but and everybody to talk to isn't a huge fan of it, but number 11 at Gilbert is a beast. You got to hit it pretty much over 200 yards straight away. And depending on where you end up, you either have a 160-yard shot or a 220-yard shot straight uphill, which if you're 220, it plays about 250, a par 4. You can always count on one hand how many birdies you make there in a year, if any. It's a super tough hole, and I think it just it's one of those holes that makes you focus on golf for the time being. And there's lots of holes you can kind of just get away with getting up there, hitting a swing, but you have to be focused on both shots on that hole.
You think it's on Pat the Rat's list now?
No, that was 16 that he did that on.
Oh, was it 16?
Yeah, this number 11 wasn't so tough.
Oh,
but,
shit. I was thinking that was 11.
No, remember 11, Rigo?
They had the mini pin
on 11?
Yeah. They had the
Greasy.
The pin from the putting green on there, so you couldn't see it with your rangefinder because it's so elevated.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were all searching for it and couldn't find it.
You play there a lot more than me, but I would say that's probably the highest scoring average hole probably in Manitoba.
Well, definitely. I told someone the other day that even though it is a par 4 and number 6 is a par 5 at Gilbert, I would say that the scoring average for most people would be lower on number 6 than number 11.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I'm not talking like birdies. I'm talking like
even
lower than
par.
Yeah, the scoring average has to be close to 5 on that hole. It's crazy tough.
Yeah, and you said that you can count the birdies on your one hand for the year. I would say I could probably count the birdies we've had on scrambles on one hand over the years on that hole. Like it's a tough hole, man.
Mm-hmm. I think I only had like 2 or 3 birdies, 2 maybe this year on that hole. But
take us to 12.
Yeah, I'm going to number 12 at Poplar Ridge. It's the hole where you can go over the house on the corner if you want to go for the green. And who was it that was yelling at me on our team this year, Jordan, not to go for it? Was it you? James, I think he was so worried. I had ripped one right over top of that house. We were just on the back fringe. It's pretty interesting, but it's just a cool hole because you have the option to play over the houses or just play straight out to the corner.
Yeah, not many people can go over the houses, so I don't think that's a legitimate option, but cool hole. Speaking of Poplar, I think that we're kind of missing a few holes here because we think that we're all going to take them, and I think that hole 11 at Poplar would probably be one of those holes that I had on my list, but I assume that you guys would have it too, which is their signature hole there, right?
I had it crossed out here, yeah. I think number 11 at Gilbert's it. I don't know.
What do you got, drums, for 12?
I don't know. I'm rethinking it because I don't think I'm actually thinking of the correct hole now. I think I totally pooched this. But I had
That's
down.
Okay. Say whatever hole you had.
I had down 12 at Shiloh. Is it? It's the one with like super uphill at the end to the green, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's the one. But yeah, that's my 12. Because you're actually dead if you go over the green, and I think it's deceiving how big the green is. I guess kind of depth wise from the fairway. So it can be a tough. It can be a tough second shot to attack at. Yeah. Because you don't really know the depth perception of that green's pretty off. And I guess that's all with all elevated greens. But yeah, I like that on that hole there. Yeah,
that's another one. We play a lot of scrambles out of Shiloh, and I don't remember a whole lot of birdies that we made on that hole just because the second shot's so hard. Yeah. You can get it to 60 yards or something, but it's still an extremely hard approach. But I got hole 12 here. So this is my hole. This is Clear Lake, par 3. I got a hole in 1 there this year. But even outside of that, I think I would have taken that hole. I think it's probably my favorite hole on the course. It's just a beautiful hole. You got about a 10-foot landing spot on the green. And it's no more than usually a 9-iron, anywhere from an A wedge to a 9-iron usually. And even though it's such a short hole, it's downhill and it's pretty hard to get at the pin. So I got pretty lucky. The pin was at the front and it kind of just trickled down. But you guys talk about it for a sec. I want to show off my thing I got today, my picture.
Yeah, I actually I had it on my list, but obviously I knew that George was going to take it. Just making an ace there, that is unbelievable.
That's an
such a
unreal
cool
picture.
touch.
So
for all of you that can't see, he has a what do you call those?
It's like a canvas
Of the 12th hole at Clear Lake that the Tamarack gave to him for making the hole in one.
Yeah, it's kind of like a panoramic view of it. So it's from the back right side of the green, kind of looking towards the green and back upwards. So it's awesome. It'll be up in the office next week here. So
that's pretty cool.
Huge thanks to the Tamarack for that. I know that they have enough stuff going on to remember to do that. So the guy emailed me the other day. Eric is his name, and he dropped it off today. So that's that. We'll get to hole 13. And I have Portage La Prairie.
Ooh, making a debut.
It's a par 4. And this is another one. I really hope I'm thinking of the right hole here. It's a par 4, kind of like a dog leg left. It's a shorter hole. But the cool thing about it is there's kind of trees that line the left side. And then there's kind of like a strawberry field on the left side there. So when you're there in the summer, it's pretty cool that there's just like a strawberry, because there's not many strawberry fields around here, right? It's usually like a wheat field or a canola field. But Portage is the strawberry capital of the earth, I think. So it's just a kind of a cool hole. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just cool.
Is that a fact?
Pretty bold statement of the earth.
I don't know about the earth. Probably Manitoba, though.
For sure not a fact. If that's a fact, my mind is absolutely blown.
For number 13,
you guys go. I'll look it up.
I'm going to number 13 at Nipoa. I went with number 7 on the front 9, and this is coming down the same hill as number 7, number 13. So basically, you can lay up to the left or try to go over the water, or lay up to the right, or try to go over the water on the left. And there's bunkers in front of the green. It's probably about a 370 par 4. It's a very tough tee shot, actually, if the wind's up once again. You guys
I really wanted to get a Nipoa hole on the back 9 because the back 9 is similar to Minnedosa. It's up on the hill. But I just couldn't remember some of the holes up there. I remember like the first 2 and then like the last 3 and kind of the ones in between there, which you're talking about. I don't really remember those ones.
So that one, there's a par 3 before it, and then you drive past the snack shack again, and then you go there, and it's an elevated tee shot, and the hazard's kind of all the way up the left-hand side, and it cuts it off, and then you go across a bridge to get over it. Or you can try to hit a driver over the left-hand side of the hazard. It's okay. Yeah. You can figure it out next summer, regular, or this weekend. We'll see.
Drums.
13. My 13 is actually at Glen Lee. It's a relatively short par 4. I think it's probably 340-ish. But it does have, I guess from the tee box, you hit straight. Your trees are on the right, so you do have to kind of come back in. So it's not kind of like a traditional dog leg. You have your landing area and then kind of go right. But you can take a rip at it if you can get over the trees, because you're basically trees right to the green. But I have seen guys hit it every now and then, so it's definitely a tough tee shot if you're going for it. And you're absolutely dead if you go over. Everything just funnels down to the bush with that one. It's a large green, and it's a deceiving read too. Kind of everywhere on that green, it's got a different slope than what you're going to think everywhere you stand on it.
Where are you taking us to next, Jeremy boy?
14.
14, I went Gilbert. My first
Somebody had to take that hole.
Yeah,
it's an unreal hole.
My first par 3 on the list, I had to go Gilbert. It's a tough hole. It's a big green, but once you get up there, it's so deceiving. Like, it's not that. It's kind of that mid range where you're kind of like, it's long, but it's not long.
It's a longer iron.
Yeah, like you're probably a 6 iron, 7 iron, 6 iron, right?
Like, unless you hit it like a maniac, like I don't think I've ever hit like a pitching wedge or a 9 iron there for at least 5 years. I don't think.
Like, I don't even. What is it? 180?
Yeah, it's about 180 downhill.
But downhill, you got the bunker in the front, so even if you're short, you're just going to get into the bunker. So
one thing that I can guarantee about that hole is that you'll never hit the same club 3 rounds in a row, ever.
Well, because your wind will be so crazy too.
Because the wind, yeah, it's honestly, that's maybe to par. Well, not maybe to par. That's my highest score to par on the course every year, like year in and year out.
The tough par.
That is the toughest. That's the toughest hole in the course.
Even if you hit the green, it's a tough putt.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, that's a good choice.
You guys, this is crazy.
We're still going.
This is on funtrivia.com. It says this city is the world's strawberry capital.
What?
It is. It was also known for the former Prime Minister Arthur Meehan, NHL player Aaron Asham, and is home to the world's largest Coke can. Portage la Prairie. It actually is the world's strawberry capital.
Shut me up.
That's unreal.
I mean, that's funtrivia.com, so we might need some fact checks there, but
that was Ken Kyoto that put that on there.
Yeah, he just heard you talking and put it on there on Wikipedia.
Okay,
what do you got on 14,
here?
Jordan? You're 14.
Oh, I got Oak Island, which is also a par 3. It's right after that par 5, right along the lake. Nothing crazy about it. I just usually play this hole well. It's usually about a 9 or an 8 iron to the green, probably about 160, 165. Elevated green over the lake. Kind of the lake goes right into that little part there. And once again, looking back off of that green, looking back onto 13, that's probably the best view on the course. That's usually where we take our group picture with the boys at the blue chair there. And good hole, good par 3.
Right. I got Dauphin Lake for mine, number 14. That's a tough hole. Just like Gilbert Plains, it's a very tough hole.
Par 3?
You're looking at a 200-yard par 3 straight away. It seems like it should be not – I was just going to say it should be an easy shot, but you have to hit a good long iron. And the green, if you land short, it doesn't very often hop up. And if you land on, it's a relatively hard green, flat green, so it kind of just runs off the back. It's a tough shot. It's usually between a 6 and a 4 iron, and gives you all the trouble to make a par there. I've seen guys hit drivers there, so Gary Brandon used to.
Probably lots of bogeys there, eh?
Yeah.
Not a lot of doubles.
Not a lot of doubles because there's no hazards, but it's just a tough par.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of two-putt bogeys.
What's the hole 15?
I am going back to Gilbert Plains. That hole is one of my favorites because if you lay up, you got to hit 3 good shots. You have to hit a good iron shot off the tee. You have to hit a good one to either go over the next hazard, and then you have to hit a good one to the green. And then if you go for it, you got to carry it 260. If you hit it 300 yards straight away, you're in the bush. So you kind of got to hit a little cut for a lefty or a draw for a righty. It's just I went for it every time this year, and it's a challenge. It's a challenging tee shot, and if you hit a good one off the face and you know it's good, it's a pretty big exhale just to know you made it over there.
Mine, I went to Dauphin. Mine 15, long par 5. It's kind of just your basic standard long par 5. Like there's nothing really special about it other than I guess its length. But it's always just been fun to try to rip 2 straight shots as hard as you can and see how close you can get to the green, either within vicinity that you still got to have a long shot or make a chip out of the green side. I guess they're just
grass bunkers.
Grass bunkers now, right? Yeah.
I literally probably finished that hole twice this year out of 15 attempts.
I was going to say, it's a killer for me too. I don't know that I've ever got there in 2. The last couple times I played it, we were dead into the wind though, and it was like a driver 3-wood 9 iron, basically, scramble. In
my whole life, I've maybe come very close once.
I guess if you kind of get it up by the path there, that's about 210 in, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it there. But it's a hell of a drive to get it to the path.
That's right. You got to have some wind and a good bounce probably, eh?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Am I up?
Yes, sir.
Pleasant Valley, one that we haven't talked about yet. Played it for the first time last summer. And it's a very, we're going to get into overrated and underrated later, but it's a very underrated course, unless you talk to people who've golfed there before. But for those who haven't, hole 15, it's another par 3. So I got back-to-back par 3s here, which is kind of rare. But it's just cool. It's an elevated tee shot. There's a whole bunch of elevation change on the back nine at Pleasant Valley. Lots of twists and turns, lots of elevated greens, and lots of kind of elevated tee shots. So par 3, I think it's about 160-ish. Just a cool par 3. Lots of cool holes in that course on the back nine. Which takes me to hole 16 at Gilbert Plains, home of Patrick Wojciech's famous putt. If like someone said before, if we're going off score, this is probably at the bottom of my list. I seem to have a magnet in the right bush there. I think it's just because I've never been on the left side, so I don't know what to expect over there. But I do have some good memories on this course, and it's a really cool hole. I mean, you got to hit a good tee shot and a really good second shot. So we made some bombs on that green, and we've had some fun Ironman tournaments on that green. So that's mine.
Right. I'm going to Clear Lake for mine. Just in the Tamarack. Having match play, matches go to the end of the round, and to get to 16 where it's reachable for just about every player, to have a hole where you can go forward or lay back. It's just kind of a perfect setup hole for the last 3. What would you say it is? It's about 260,
yep,
if that, and it plays all downhill to get to the green. So you probably only have to hit about 240 to get it there, and it's just a fun par 4.
Well, boys, we've done it. We finally agreed on one.
Double up?
We doubled up. We came to hole
16 at Gilbert or Clear Lake?
We came to 16 for the first
Clear
double
Lake?
up. I got to go back to Clear Lake. I'm going to join Reg on this one. I'm going to Clear Lake. Like you said, man, it's just a fun, and it can get hard though. Like it,
oh yeah,
for whatever reason, it like you stand on the tee box and you think auto birdie, but man, like there's some tough times where you got to scramble for a par, and you're struggling just making a par. You're going for bogey pretty easily too on that hole, and then it's just a good start to a good wrap up for the next holes too.
That's right.
It's usually when the pin's at the front, that's when it's the most issues, because you're usually, if you hit a good shot, you're usually about 30 yards out, and there's no harder shot than trying to land one in a perfect spot on the front of the green, just trickle on, and usually it's gone to the back of the green. Then you're looking down at a good par or a bogey for sure from back there.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the mental comes into it though. Like, I think if the pin's at the front, you think it's a birdie hole, so you think that you have to go for this unbelievable shot and get it close for birdie, when if you just hit it and land it in the front of the green, like you're only going to have 20 feet uphill for par, but it's a birdie hole, so you want to birdie it. And then you end up hitting it short, and then you bring bogey into play.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's right. Yeah. If you leave it short trying to get cute, because you're not stopping it after that.
Then you're making a bogey. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you got for 17?
Drums,
17. I'm staying on the same course, just going right down the path. I'm going right to 17. I'm not going to say much on it because somebody else is going to wrap things up for it on that hole. So we'll keep moving.
How do you know that?
I got a feeling.
Okay, well, I'll get to Dauphin, hole 17 at Dauphin, par 4. Slight dog leg to the left, I suppose. Bush on both sides, kind of. There's a pond in the front left, so the second shot can be tricky. But I think the main reason for me was our Agassi Cup memories this year, where we were 2 down and made an eagle on 17. Dan keeping chipped in from about 30 yards off the green. and we won that hole, and then won 18 and tied her up. So it's pretty cool, pretty special hole.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Me and Drums are in agreement. 2 holes in a row. I didn't know if we could go the same course back to back, but it seems like either of us had any issue doing it. I think the reason why it's my favorite is pretty self-explanatory. I have 2 hole-in-ones there. One was after the Tamarack.
There's gonna be so many people that hate you for saying that statement.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I don't know. It's pretty tough to go away from a hole where you have 2 hole-in-ones on. It's a pretty special hole for me. It's another one of those holes that, I mean, I guess in my mindset, like I know some people get up there and kind of grip their club, but in my mindset, it's the same as Rossman, where you can get up there and you think that you have a chance to make a hole-in-one every time you step up on that tee. So it's a super cool hole for me that way. And I just have tons of very cool memories there, obviously. Never
mind 2 hole-in-ones. I think I've maybe had 2 decent chances at birdie in my lifetime on that hole.
That's good for me.
That's pretty funny. That's funny. Like you get up there and think of a hole-in-one, and I get up there and I mentally had to train myself to realize how deep the green is. Like looking from 18 tee box down.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I got at least 30 yards here, so I can probably land it somewhere on the green.
Right.
And that's my mentality on it, whereas yours is thinking hole-in-one. So I think
too, though,
we're a little bit different.
That hole kind of benefits the shot shape that I play with my wedges, though, too. Like, because I just hit that little punch wedge where it can't get up high and go too crazy. I just hit a little punch right in it.
True.
I don't know. It sets up good for me. I like that hole. Let's put it that way. And I'm gonna head to Oak Island for my hole 18. It's just a sweet closing hole. Par 5, can get there in 2, and it can also eat you up if you go left off the tee or right into the fescue. I like finishing par 5s. I wish every course had one.
I agree. I was close on 18 as well. I almost went Oak Lake too. We would have had 3 in a row, but I went to Weed City. Like you, Reg, I like finishing on a par 5. Take a couple last rips at her, see if you can get home. It's not the hardest hole in the world, but there's not a lot of great scores that always get made there. Like you can even be close in 2, and you can, for whatever reason, it may be because it's the last hole, your mentality just kind of slips and whatever. But it's
a tough green, right?
It can be a tough green if you don't hit it in the right spot. Yeah. And as long as your tee shot's good, you should have a good shot at getting there. But yeah, it's a tough. I don't know. It's kind of just a medium finishing par 5, but I love that hole.
I wouldn't say the green's difficult.
No. Like it's a big green.
I would say out of 10, it's maybe like a 4. But I think the trouble is the second shot, where you got train tracks to the right and tennis course to the left. So and it just kind of gets narrower and narrower as you get to the green. But I'll round out with a par 5 as well. So we got 3 par 5s to finish, which is kind of cool. And I went to Shiloh. It's a par 5. Shiloh actually finishes with 2 par 5s. 17 and 18 are both par 5s. And Shiloh, it's kind of like it's down sloping. It doesn't really feel like it, but you can't really see where your ball ends up on the tee shot. And then if you hit a good tee shot, you got about 170 to 190 in probably. But it's a hard, depending on where the flag is there, it's a really hard pin to get at, because there's a huge bunker right in front, and then that kind of slopes away from the green. And then obviously behind the green is out of bounds. So people tend to get pretty greedy there and end up, same thing, taking some higher scores when if you're playing it the right way, it should be a birdie. But usually guys are looking at 180 out from the fairway, and they're thinking eagle and then bunker town. So that's it. We had 2 double ups. That's pretty good. Out of what's 18 times 54. 3? I should know that. 54.
54. Yeah.
Pretty good.
That is impressive.
So we'll have last week we tweeted out our courses just as it were on Twitter. And we had a few people reply. There were some cool responses there, so we'll probably do that again this week.
I think Connor Shaw said he's working on he realized that we did all rural courses, so he's going to put together a city course for us of all his favorite courses around the city. So
nice.
Yeah, we did probably bias a little bit towards kind of the courses around here, maybe because I know playing Heckler and Granite Hills and stuff, I've only played there once or twice. So like you said, it is hard to, and even Neepawa, like I don't play there that often. So it's hard to really have a sharp image in your mind of what each hole is. And a lot of courses don't offer like the hole by hole flyovers and stuff online, which is a little bit crazy to me, but yeah, let's wrap up the first segment here and get into part 2.
Yeah. Like, what is it?
Is that from Winkler?
Yeah.
Fuck, those are good pizzas.
Fucking right. We should have started the ad with that.
Good.
I guess we still could.
What do you mean?
Tonight's free ad.
Fuck, here we go.
Don't do it again.
Okay.
Tonight's free ad is brought to you by Spenced Brothers Pizza. It's probably the best pizza on the market, in my opinion. The best frozen pizza for sure. It's a company out of Winkler, Manitoba. We're kind of sticking to the Manitoba companies here. I was kind of going through some of their stuff today, their Instagram page, and one thing I found was cool is it said that they started in 2003 with a follow from the BSE issue, which was the mad cow disease. So I'm guessing these guys had a cattle farm, and then that disease hit, and then they started this pizza company. So it's been around for 17 years. I've had it before, but it kind of came to Brandon and Sobeys this last little while, and I've been eating up like crazy. It's a flatbread style pizza. They got, Hawaiian, pepperoni and bacon, pepperoni, all the basic flavors. It's not very greasy. It seems like quality ingredients, and I love them. They're incredible pizzas. So we wanted to give a shout out to the Spenced Brothers in Winkler. Check them out on Instagram, or they've been in Sobeys lately. So pick up a couple Zaws next time you're there. And I know Rigo has some good things to say about them, which he already said.
Yeah. Unreal pizzas. You can find them at Co-op here in Dauphin for all the Dauphin local listeners.
Yeah, when you're comparing it to say like a Delicio, which is $7.99, I think these are about $10 or something.
Way better though.
Yeah, but I would take these 100 times out of 100. So I don't want you to go out and buy them all though, because I was at Sobeys yesterday and they're starting to sell out already. So take it easy. Okay, well, the drums. Let's get into your culture corner for the evening.
Culture corner is going to be a pretty quick one here. I'm going back to a book, or not going back to, but I am going to a book. I'm about halfway through it, so it's going to be relatively quick. This one is called The Crazy Game, and it's the Clint Malarchuk story. If you guys remember that name, he is the goalie for Buffalo that had his throat cut back in the 80s. Remember that one, and it was just spilling out onto the ice. So it's a story about his life, and literally on the first page, that's not even mentioned. It ends with him pulling the trigger of a shotgun underneath his chin. So he's got some darkness in him. It's basically about his battles with mental issues, anxiety, depression, and then substance abuse after his career. I think he gets into coaching and stuff later on in his life, but I'm not quite at that juncture of the book yet. But it's a pretty wild story. Just everything he's gone through. He knew that he had something mentally wrong with him for quite some time, and then nowadays when it becomes more something we can talk about and find help for, just the realization of that is something pretty crazy. So that's my book recommendation and my culture corner for this week.
What's it called again there, Drums?
The Crazy Game.
Love it.
Sounds interesting.
So did his depression start after, like with painkillers and stuff, or was it before that incident?
No, so he literally had depression, anxiety. He had it as a child. And then when he had the incident, he pushed himself a lot. Like he was back like very shortly after that, having your throat cut. Like he just about bled out. Yikes. Like he was minutes away from dying. That was the first time he just about died. So that's how crazy this book gets.
It's wild.
Reggie, stroke saver. What?
I was laughing pretty hard before we hopped on here tonight. I knew that we'd talked about what I'm going to talk about tonight just amongst us previously, and I didn't know whether or not I actually used it for a stroke saver. So I went back and listened to every one I've done since we started going live with this thing, and I literally start every stroke saver with the words, it's kind of a basic tip tonight, but I'm going to start here. Like literally every single tip that I gave on here, I start, it's just a basic tip or everyday knowledge here tonight, but it's kind of embarrassing. So I'm going to switch that up.
Hey, keep the
my stroke saver tonight. Jory, you would know this. Dad's driver game off the tee. I would say it's 10 times better than it has been probably ever this year.
Yep.
And it all started with just a simple tip of he would get to a hole where he would always struggle missing left. He would just hit a weak fade to the left. And I finally figured out that the reason why he was hitting it to the left, he's a lefty, by the way, with a fade. So he would always be scared of fading it to the left to the point where his feet would set up to the right. Or sorry, his feet would set up normal. But he'd be so scared of going left, he would swing his club to the right. So you'd actually end up aiming more right, and the ball would end up going more left with more spin on it, and it would have no power at all. It would just kind of be like a fluff to the left.
Yeah.
So I told him, and holes 10 and 11 at Gilbert for him were just a nightmare because, I mean, he'd be so scared of going left that he'd aim farther right, and then it'd just be like a powder puff drive to the left. So I told him, like, on any given hole, he doesn't fade the ball that much, but in his head, he's scared that he's going to fade it too much to the left. So I told him, your normal shot isn't actually that big of a fade. So if you just aim down the right side of the fairway instead of aiming into the right bush, you'll have a lot more power on it, and it won't go as far left because you're not aiming right, putting more spin on the ball. And his driver from that point on was just like, I mean, pretty much every round we golfed on men's night, guys were complimenting how far he was hitting it and how straight. Probably went to his head a little bit by the end of the summer. But so basically the tip is if you're scared of going somewhere, and drums, because you draw it a bit when you get quick, right? So you probably aim farther right, and you actually end up hitting it farther left because you actually come right across the ball and hook it. Whereas if you just aim straighter, you don't when you hit a good tee shot, it's not a hook. But you aim farther right because you don't want to go left, and then you actually hook it more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I have a natural, I guess it's a natural draw, so I always play for that. And then when I get quick, it's a snap hook, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But then if there's trouble on the left, then you actually end up aiming farther right, and it actually goes farther left because you're putting more spin on it. So the next time you get to one of those holes where you're scared to go left, just aim a little more down the middle, and you'll actually hook it less. And it worked for him all summer. I thought maybe it was just a fluke off the start, but it actually ended up pretty perfect for him all summer. And I started doing it myself as well.
Spin's not something people like golfers of my caliber think about. And it's such
it's huge. It's
such an important part of how the ball travels, right? I mean, fucking obviously, but it's not something that you think of.
Mm-hmm. So your feet are aimed normal, but you're trying to hit it out to the right so you don't go left, and you actually end up putting more spin on it, and it goes left. So just keep that in mind, everybody. Just when you get to a hole where you're scared of trouble on the side that your miss normally is, actually aim more towards the trouble, and you won't slice it or draw it as much.
Yeah, three quick observations there, Rigo. I've seen a few fruit flies flying on the camera there, so got to get a control of those things. That was Drums's token F-bomb for the episode right there.
Whoops.
Usually throws in at least one. And
We're not done yet.
I said Dal was golfing with Dal the other day, and I said like he slices it. And I think if you aim, like you set up for the slice, right? Exactly what you're saying. But if he were to aim towards where his slice is going, he's not going to slice it won't go. It's just people overcompensate for what they're doing with the ball.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what you're saying. So if you're, but that's an excellent tip, Rigo. Excellent. Haven't said that word for a while.
Excellent.
Yeah, the fruit flies here are crazy, by the way, but whatever.
Excellent. Let's get to the junk drawer. Tonight, I'm actually a little bit worried about. Last week we had a good one, and nobody really commented on it to me. No major companies have reached out to me to do this yet, but I'm actually worried that somebody's going to take this one. So we're still broke. But tonight, I'm sure everybody who's listening has had a loaf of bread in their life at some point, either last year, this year, today, yesterday. And the thing with loaves of bread is I'm usually in a rush, but I take out the bread and put her in the toaster and then try to find the freaking bread tie, which is usually white, and all countertops are white. And so it takes me 10 minutes to find the thing. And I don't know if I throw it 20 feet behind me or what happens to them, but they just disappear and I have to spend time looking for them. So the invention is, why wouldn't you make them like fluorescent? Like make a fluorescent pink bread. Is it a bread tie?
Bread clip.
Well,
You know what I'm talking
what are you
about, like
talking
that
about?
little-
You talking about like the plastic clip that
Bread clip,
clips
yeah.
on? It's a bread clip, but you got ties. They're like
Twist ties.
twist ties.
No, it's a clip. You know what I mean? Like the one that you just kind of you lose all the time.
Yeah.
So fluorescent pink, fluorescent orange, fluorescent green. I mean, you're not going to lose them. They're going to show up as soon as you look for them. Why do they make them white, which is the same color as the countertops? So one part is make them fluorescent, and two, while you're doing that, put your company, get some sponsors for them. You know, you can get some sort of rebate. We'll get King Golf bread clips on there. Are they bread? I think they're tags.
Bread clips. They're bread clips.
No, I think they're tags now that you say that.
Definitely bread clips.
I think
they're not. They're bread clips.
Okay, let's do a poll.
Okay, we don't. Well, I mean, a simple Google search would work, but we don't need to spend time doing that. So that's the thing. All you need to do is make them not the colors of the countertops, and you'll sell 1 trillion of those.
All right, so customizable
I think
bread
that's
tags.
a legit idea.
Yeah.
Customizable, but mostly fluorescent, so you can see them when you take them out of the bread bag. I'm hoping somebody can relate to that, because I can't be the only one that struggles with that daily. Let's get into the over-under segment. We have legitimately been trying to do this for the last 10 minutes, and Rigo tried starting the segment, but lost his mind every time he tried saying, let's get into the over-under segment. So
Absolute meltdown.
And he's out of the scene right now. He must
can't
be
look at
still
us.
going. So, Rigo, can you join us here? What do you have first?
I'm here. So this one comes from Brant Young. Is a driver off the deck over or underrated? Ooh, I got to wipe the tears out of my eyes. Jesus.
This one's pretty easy for me. I'm just gonna go overrated because I cannot do it at all. There's zero chance I'm getting more than 20 feet out of a driver off the deck. So overrated.
I'm going overrated too. I think that it's something that when you pull out the driver from the fairway, like you get all the eyes on you for about 5 seconds. But I'd say the success rate for me anyways is about maybe 30%. So I hit my 5-wood and my 3-wood better than my driver, and they go just as far off the fairway. So I just, other than keeping it low out of the wind, but still, I don't know. I'm going overrated.
I'm going underrated just for the fact that I hit it 1,000 miles in the air with every club that I have. And if I'm into the wind and I want to reach a par 5 and 2, I'm not going to be able to do that with my 3-wood just because I hit it so high. But if I hit a driver off the deck, it's like a low bullet. And I've actually taught myself how to hit it pretty good in the last couple of years. And I actually used it quite often this summer. I'm a big fan of driver off the deck. And I also, just to add in on that, I like hitting it on the driving range. When I start hitting my driver shitty, it's because I'm picking it up. And if you pick up your driver, it's impossible to hit it off the deck. Whereas if you take it back low and slow, it actually gives you good tempo, and it helps. Like, I always hit a couple off the deck just when I'm at the driving range, just to get some tempo going.
Oh, save that for a stroke saver. Don't be giving away any free tips here.
Sorry. Well, we got through that anyways.
Yeah, thank God. That was legitimately 15 minutes.
Yeah, that
was funny. My cheeks are rosy from it.
Okay, let's go. You Drums, you got a custom one tonight. You got a custom one. So what is it? We haven't even heard it yet.
Yeah, so the one I came up with is overrated or underrated Nickelback.
Way underrated.
Way underrated.
Roundabout way, we're all way underrated.
I think that's probably going to be the biggest landslide on Instagram. I think that people are finally realizing that it's okay. It's kind of cool to listen to Nickelback now. So I think that there was one cool. On. No, that's right. But just like
got
the
shit
general
on for no reason. Like, it was just everybody piled on them. But like,
all their tunes
were good.
The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
The media made it. People try to think that liking Nickelback wasn't okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Have you ever actually met anybody that didn't like Nickelback? I know one person. That's a coworker of mine, and she knows every song. And it's like, okay, well,
that's the thing. Like, if you don't like them, you know their songs, so they win.
Yeah. So I would say grossly underrated.
So far, the biggest underrated segment has been chipping in, and that was 94% underrated to 6% overrated. So I would like to meet the people who said overrated there.
Yeah.
If you want to see
chipping in.
If you want to see the full list of everything we've done so far, it's on our Instagram page. In one of the highlighted, is it highlights or stories or something?
Yeah,
I don't know,
highlights.
It's the first one there.
Yeah.
It's with the White Claw can. So you can see all the ones we've done and the results that all the friends and followers. So
right on.
Cool. So we're all pretty unanimous there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The last one here is from Evan Marsh, our good buddy who used to play Pokemon cards with in Dauphin, also known as Evan March when I don't know how to type. He asked about live sports. So what do you guys think of that?
Go ahead, Drummy boy.
Oh, I thought Rigo was gonna have another meltdown here.
I'm good.
Like,
I'm all laughed out.
Is he saying like live sports, like being at the event, or like live sports we're able to watch them again?
No, like being at the event.
Being at the I don't know. I'm gonna go. I'll go overrated because we can't go par anymore.
We can, but not as much.
I'm also gonna say overrated, unless it's like a cool.
If it's
like
a cool event like
game,
the Winter Classic or a playoff game or something
playoff
like that.
game, yeah, or like the Waste Management or something like that. But like with all the abilities that they have with the TV networks now and all the extra stuff that you get to see while you're watching the game, and like the ability to pause the game and go do something and watch like replays like anytime you want. I don't know. Like, if I was a season ticket holder for the Jets, I'm not sure I'd go. I mean, I probably would go to every game, but I'm just as happy watching it on TV, I think.
I don't know. I like TV a lot better sometimes because, like, I hate people. And you get a bunch of people, like, shoot the puck. I don't have that at home. So I'd rather do that.
What sport's way better on TV is football.
I don't know.
Like,
I'd
like
love
way
to go
better.
to
CFL, I'm talking.
We could legitimately talk about this for an hour.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Troy?
I'm gonna say overrated as well, which it really kills me to say, because some of the coolest moments of my life have been at a live sporting event. And so I think within certain events is definitely underrated, and it's the times where were you? It's cool to be there. Like for me, like the Jets first playoff game since they were back, among a few other things. But yeah, like we have season tickets for the Jets, or we had. I don't know what's going to happen with them now. There's 12 of us, some guys from Carberry and Brandon, and it's tough when it's minus 30 degrees outside to drive into Winnipeg on a Tuesday night, leave work early in tax season, and as opposed to coming home, eating supper, and taping the game and watching it on your couch, right? So overall overrated, but definitely the times where were you? So grossly underrated for sure.
Definitely.
You can't get that experience and goosebumps from sitting on your couch, but just a general game for sure overrated.
Right, like also, the games that stand out are definitely worth it, but the just average games are maybe like the ho-hums where you're okay.
But the thing is, you never know when those games are going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like Patrick Laine, the first time he got his hat trick, you don't know when that stuff's going to happen, and it depends what your interests are and what's important to you. But yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really good question, actually.
The more I think about it, the tougher, yes.
Another one, so live sports, and that's just talking about professional sports, but all the Kings games in town are on, and I go to all the games, obviously, with Doug being the coach now, but all the games are on that Fast Hockey or Hockey TV, whatever it is. And live sports in that sense is grossly underrated as opposed to watching it on TV. When it's in your hometown and you can just cruise down to the rink instead of driving 4 hours for me into Winnipeg, it's not worth it.
And we also don't live in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we don't really know about that.
Yeah, that's right. So
it's a good question.
We were pretty on the same page there, I think, other than the driver off the deck, but
I don't think there was any
we tried
pars
to keep
either.
This one a little bit shorter. What's that? No pars for Birchie.
There you go.
On that note with Birchie, he's our contestant this week for the Pga Picks for us. We are going to do the next tournament is going to be at the Zozo, where the GOAT, greatest of all time, defends his championship. And we will be drawing the winner on next week's episode. Don't forget to get your entry in by tweeting us or sending us a direct message with the word Tamarack.
That's it.
Sure.
Well, boys, I think that's going to wrap her up for this week. As always, continue to follow us. Check out the YouTube page. Follow us for the tournament this weekend. Play along. Remember to come back next week. We'll keep putting them out as long as you keep listening. As always, love you, boys. Peace. Have a good week.
Have a good night, fellas.